assessed, weighed, censored, ordered about by men who have neither the right nor the knowledge nor the virtue. To be governed means to be at each operation, at each transaction, at each movement. Noted, registered, controlled, taxed, stamped, measured, valued, assessed, patented, licensed, authorized, endorsed, administered, tampered, reformed, recouped, and arrested. It is to be on the pretext of the general interest, taxed, drilled, held to ransom, exploited, monopolized, extorted, squeezed, hoaxed, robbed, and at the least resistance. But the first word of complaint to be repressed, fined, abused, and annoyed, followed, bullied, beaten, disarmed, garroted, imprisoned, machine gun judged, condemned, deported, flayed, sold, betrayed, and finally mocked, ridiculed, insulted, dishonored. Such is government, such is justice, such is morality. The British government now and throughout history have always been wrong. At every turn of events, by their very nature, they can only vest their interest in the profit of a few, off the backs of the many. I will side with those who choose to fight to rid us for God of government. If my only wanting a better deal than misery makes me terrorist, anarchist, subversive, then so be it. We know how real freedom tastes. Every time for a moment we break the stranglehold they have upon our lives. So, this next song is about the hazards of signing on, which I'm sure a lot of people will be quite aware of. It seems to be getting more and more difficult all the time, and I think in September it's going to get a lot worse, but we'll see. Before we give you your money, before we give you what is rightfully yours, all you've got to do is answer a few of the simple questions we ask you. What job do you normally do if you've not worked before? Please say so. Please list down your last 3 jobs. What was your last weekly wage? What job are you looking for? Are you available for work? What experience have you got? What other jobs will you accept? If none, then state your reasons. Write against each day the hours you can work. Are you available for work? What are you doing to try and find work? Are you looking for a permanent job? If you're less from part-time, then you better give your reasons. Are you available for work? What minimum weekly wage you are willing to take? If it's more than your last job, say why. Can you start work? If not today, say why. And when you can, are you available for work? 24 hours a day, 6 days a week, you must be available for work. No income support till you sign the form that says that you're available for work. Employment training, 40 quid a week for 40 hours while you're sent that you are available for work. Norman Fowler sitting proudly in front of your unemployment graph. You must really think we're stupid, ha! Don't make me laugh if you think by cooking your books 3 million people disappear when we know damn well that we're still here. Norman Fowler, you charlatan, you know you're kind, sitting in your office street, making up your mind on how we, the unemployable, should spend our time. Fowler, get your filthy hands off what is mine. So look forward in anger, though the future they paint is bleak, for we are the unemployable. It's time for us to speak. Who wants a crap job anyway if it means less space to breathe, when we can use our time to buy the hand that feeds? John Moore from your private hospital bed, how can you possibly know what it's like to live on the benefit? You'd have us up or go if we don't like your restart or your adult training schemes. We won't be the slaves who build your dream. So start this government or anyone else who try and put us down. We can find our own feet and they're firmly on the ground. We can take the benefit that's ours and whatever we can steal, for our dignity is our power and it's real. Oh, sisters and brothers, raise up your weary heads. If we're not prepared to put up a fight, then we're as good as dead. And a brick in our hand is worth 200 in their wall. If we learn to stand together, to stand tall, for we are the unemployable, and we're here to stay. No matter what their figures say, we're growing every day. We look forward in anger, despite all their new cuts. With self-respect, we shall reject their designer ruts. And I won't work in your factory, and I won't work in your bank, and I won't work on your training scheme, and I won't drive your tanks. I won't work for no fat boss for his profit and his greed, but I won't rest until the day that work serves all of our needs.
Top. Oh dear. Top. Alright, yeah, this next song is not in fact a song, it's a poem. I am a government minister, and so am I, and so am I, and so am I. And we are here to help, to make decisions, to pass laws that help, to help us help ourselves to the wealth. Members of the House, do you agree with me? Order! 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 We agree. We all agree. Very well, we shall do very well. Ha, ha, hip, hip, hooray, what a wonderful day. A declaration of war from today. We'll fight the war against the people, against the poor. But remember, we don't call it war, we call it the law. Yeah, now then. This next song, by way of explanation, is from a sort of radio play which I once concocted but have never quite got round to performing. It's the bit where the protagonist gets up and sings a song, as Elvis would do in Blue Hawaii, or Cliff Richard. And this is it. Brian's song, it's called Brian, son of Harry Roberts. I stand here, I've got an idea locked away inside my head, but without expression the idea is as lifeless as the brick which I hold in my hands. I weigh it up the potential energy of a brick and an idea. Brick and idea become as one as they come alive, with real energy of movement through space and through time. Movement through space and through time. Movement through space, and to throw a brick, to express an idea for a second. There is action with beating hearts and bated breath as the brick draws nearer its destination. Before I know it, the moment has passed and the brick has resumed its lifelessness. Amid splinters of glass on a plush brand new carpet of a bank in the city where they flaunt it, they ask for it. A minuscule action in the day in a life of someone who wants to express opposition to their lifelessness which masquerades as fulfillment. Things fill ourselves full of their lifeless full products. Life in a brand name in a tin with a ring full like coal dust disguised by a corporate logo to choke us to death. And the thousands of square miles of high street shop windows won't stop us from driving our thoughts deep into capitalism's already bleeding body. And the thin blue line, for that's all that it is, can never stand up to the might of a people committed to bringing this war to its bloody conclusion. Oh dear. That way. You'll have to excuse. I must excuse myself for me proliferation of facial hair. It's not generally part of the show, but I've been rehearsing this part for Hamlet. You know, to be or not to be. That's the question. I don't know. I don't think he's actually talking to me, but it's pretty loud. Right, this song is a sort of love song. Just like this. I'm just a simple bloke with a handful of ideas. I can set them to music, make them rhyme, make them sound almost clear. But despite giving the appearance that everything's under control, I'm often little more than a bundle of nerves held together by a brick wall. I don't mean when I'm standing up here singing things I used to say. I mean expressing my feelings and fears in my life from day to day. So when it comes to my life and I want to speak my mind, there isn't time for wordplay nor for fancy rhymes. I mean half of the time I don't even know exactly what it is that I feel. And like
which is new to me. When women have to scream and cry and shut the place down, I used to think it's just what women were like, empty vessels making no sound. I couldn't have been further from the truth, I just couldn't see. As women laid their feelings on the line, they were only trying to tell me that all they want is the space to be taken seriously. But after all, it's not much to ask when for us folks it's guaranteed. She's got a brain in her head, she speaks good sense, she's both fragile and strong. She is down to earth, she is up in the air. She's the reason I'm singing this song. I look at her and I can see the strength which is new to me. I've had the fortune to watch a woman grow these past few years. Strengthening stature, she expresses her anger through smiles and through tears. In a daily struggle to make herself heard, she shows her dignity. It's sinking in my thick skin, the wisdom touches me, and no longer can I dismiss all the things she has to say, things I thought but could never express in my life day to day. Of course I fell in love with her, though I knew it never could be, for she was another, and he's been like a brother to me. I love them both as much as I know, and I respect her so. And though I loved her, I knew I'd never ever hold her close in my arms, never to whisper sweet nothings in her ear. But as it is, I'll always know this, I hold her dear, and I love her as a sister, where before I only had brothers, and I love her as a best friend, a comrade in arms until the end. She shows me things that I couldn't know, and I respect her so. She shows me things that I couldn't know, and I respect her so. She shows me just by what she does the differences between us. The things I used to ignore make me respect her more and more. I respect her so.
Yeah, I can't play that. Okay, I don't know if you've ever wondered, you know, you sometimes sitting watching TV, watching adverts, and you're wondering how come people get away with selling so much crap. And I mean, basically, it's down to advertising. So, of a brand name product, you know, to get it a brand name product means you've got to spend about 20% of your production costs on advertising. And this sort of story goes back a few hundred years. The king's there, sat on his throne.
You guys, yeah. Look, I've got a bad image with the people. Now, you guys just get it sorted out, or... I've got a deal fixed up with the King of France. You know, I want to exchange some gold and shit, you know, for the Queen's birthday. But the people think I'm a bad king because I want more grain off them. Now, you guys, you get it sorted out, or I'll cut your heads off.
And the sort of king's PR guys are sort of bowing, majesty, majesty. And of course they pass it on to the blokes in the advertising department. There's a couple of blokes there and they're thinking, well, there's the ideas man and there's the voiceover man, and the ideas man
Yeah, we better forget him totally because he's not a popular guy. We better come up with some concept. And the voiceover man's going, do you want sugar in your coffee, man? I mean, I mean the ideas man's thinking, yeah, I've got this concept. What do we do is we get a woman, we dress her up fancy, lots of makeup, weave the flag in somewhere, and we've got ourselves a symbol to make the people feel good about being shat on by the king. Could do with a jingle. No, we've got that one. Something else. Yeah, sounds good. Great. Yeah, that's it. Great. And that, of course, is how Great Britain became Great Britain, because some guys in the advertising department came up with it. Invasion, colonization, genocide, the works. Dress it up, call it great, often enough, and people start to believe it. And of course, this is going on today still, as this next song sort of explains. If I can find me a little piece of technical application. This song is entitled Why We Are Still in Ireland, Part 1. And it's about just that.
Settlers calling our kingdom great, our banners raised.
Hang on a minute, I've just absolutely messed it up because that's not quite in tune. Before I forget, I come over in van today with Generic from Leeds, and we've had a bit of a mishap. Well, not a mishap, but Sned, the drummer of Generic, has been taken to hospital. Well, he's gone to hospital because he's had some trouble with his waterworks and other things. So we're not quite sure if he's going to turn up or not, but if you just sort of bear in mind, I don't know what's going on back here, but this is the trouble. It's like a bloody motorway here. It's quite disconcerting. Anyway, back to this song.
The settlers calling our kingdom great, our banners raised on high, baptized with the tide of history, but won't lie down and die. Words from our own good book to help us get by. The sacrifice of our daily bread, for hallowed be our domain. Forever and ever the powers use the glory to chain our minds again. Our lads growing into our men. The unicorn stands triumphant, but if we look a little closer, it's chained like a slave. The lion was crowned king of this land that it's only ever seen from behind bars in a cage. There's history of the winning side written on every page. It's not as simple as being misled as us not wanting to see that most of us are born losers in their great society, fed on a diet of how grand things used to be. An empire, 2 world wars, and Wembley 66. But a Gordon Bank save couldn't save our ship. We were sinking like a brick till we were washed ashore in the South Atlantic. The unicorn stands triumphant, but if we look a little closer, it's chained like a slave. The lion was crowned king of this land that it's only ever seen from behind bars in a cage. There's history of the winning side written on every page. And how can we as a people be so blind to taking so much but to close our minds, to be so afraid of stepping over the line, to bury our heads in the sands of time, to champion judging others by the colour of a book that was written for us on our behalf, 'cause we can't be bothered to look beyond the headlines written verbatim by government crooks. And tell me, when is a lie not a lie when it's told by someone who owns the truth? And when is a joke not a joke when the punchline is the Union Jackboot? When is a war not a war when those who started it know it can't be won? And when is a country not a country when it's partitioned and ruled by British guns? England, oh England, I'll never sing your praise for all the blood you shed in long gone days. You still can't put your mind to changing your ways. And while Britain's first and virtually its last remaining colony is fighting with its very life to bring this monster to its knees, we can't see the wood for the trees who the monster is. And how can we as a people be so blind to taking so much but to close our minds, to be so afraid of stepping over the line, to bury our heads in the sands of time, to champion those who take off everything and then pretend that none of this is happening, to turn away and stop wondering how things could be so different. The unicorn stands triumphant, but if we look a little closer, it's chained like a slave. The lion was crowned king of this land that it's only ever seen from behind bars in a cage. Do we stand against the tide or still pretend we're the master race? Or do we stand against the tide or still pretend we're the master race? Oh dear.
I think we're approaching the end. What have I to do? Just carry on. Okay. Okay, yeah. Right, okay, yeah. Yeah, I mean, going back to generic drummer, they're just going to see what's happening at the hospital. So I'm going to bore you for another 10 minutes, I think. But, yeah, that mind just fitting. I'll do this one and then I'll go on to that. Where are we? A request. It's not often I get a request. This song's pretty self-evident. I usually play it with my fingers, but my hands are sticking together, so I won't bother attempting even that.
I wish we were a million Wat Tylers. We would storm the city banks. This time we'd come with an arsenal of guns, and we won't pay your poll tax. We danced around the city institutions, watch the old economy collapse. If the commons don't fall down, then we burn them to the ground, and we won't pay your poll tax. We take what is rightfully ours, steal all our riches back, smash down the walls, everything for all, and we won't pay your poll tax. We'd string up the very last bars by the guts of the last bureaucrat. Ted and the prisons, the people of prison, and we won't pay your poll tax. No, we won't pay your poll tax. Never ever won't pay your poll tax. It's the people in power that we disagree with, not so much each other. When we will overcome, when we are together, when our differences are smaller than our dependence on the people in power. When we are together, when we are together.
Now then, playing for time. I'll have a drink. I tell you, if I were a stand-up comedian, these people walking past here would have got it from me. But I mean, you can't have this putting the toilets outside at stations like stereo. You know, it's a bit awkward to do with. This song is a request for this gentleman down here. It's called The Birmingham Six, and it's about the complete lack of respect that this government and all its agents treat Irish people with in general. That's it. Here we go.
Birmingham, 1974, there occurred a bloody murder. 21 people killed by bombs, Britain reeled in horror. Within 3 hours, the British state found the first available scapegoats. 5 Irishmen bound for Belfast, about to board the boats. And this is the story, very sad but true, about 6 men were falsely imprisoned for something they didn't do. And if any should say British justice is the very best in the world, tell them, well, of course it is for the vested interest it serves. The men were taken to Morecambe to be tested for explosives, tests which have since proved ambiguous, but at the time were held as conclusive. One scientist's word was sufficient to condemn the Irishmen. Like vultures, the police moved in to begin interrogations. In the circumstances, how well do you think the men's rights were observed? The cops thought they had the bombers. Do you think they kept their judgment reserved? Does innocent till proven guilty have any meaning at all? When you're alone in a police cell surrounded by cops being kicked around like a ball. In a dark windowless room, half a dozen detectives were waiting. Billy Power was thrown in. The serious questions about to begin. He was kicked and hit and punched from all sides, spread-eagled against the wall. They kicked him and hit him again. A voice from the dark said, stretch his balls. Soon after poor Billy surrendered, screamed, I'll tell you anything you want me to say. Sat in his own excretion, he could hardly speak. He remained in a daze whilst cops compiled his statements of how he planted the bombs. They threatened him with the treatment again, so Billy signed a confession. From Thursday night till Monday morning, the men were in police custody. They couldn't talk to each other, they couldn't even see a solicitor. Deprived of food and sleep, all part of procedure to break the men. Johnny Walker blacked out twice. They took guide his hand when he signed a confession. Richard Nicoletti was threatened with a gun. The cop said it was okay to shoot him, that the Home Office had given permission. The cop asked him if he was going to sample the gun against his head. Russian roulette with a flank when he banged Michelini. Thought he was dead. Leyland workers staged a walkout. Their banners read, hang the IRA. The Labour government in power at the time rushed through the PTA. In their war on the Irish people, the British wanted vengeance. Despite glaring omissions and so-called confessions, the 6 men hadn't a chance. The judge dismissed their claims, said it would have meant there'd been a conspiracy between 15 officers from 2 different forces, as if it was an impossibility. The police, in fact, became heroes, got their promotion and victory medals. The 6 men got life imprisonment, and 14 years on, they're still in jail. The men protested their innocence, but it fell mainly on deaf ears. They wanted to bring the policemen to trial. The appeal took 7 years. Lord Denning dismissed their case out of answer. These actions cannot go on. What he really meant was the state machine could never admit it's done wrong. Another 6 years, another appeal, another set of judiciary to uphold the original convictions. A safe and satisfactory if it ever gets out that the state does us wrong. Well, what would people say? We'd say we know who our real enemies are now, and we form our own IRA. Or let me tell a story, very sad but true, of how 6 men were falsely imprisoned for something they didn't do. And if any should say British justice is the very best in the world, tell them, well, of course it is for the vested interest it serves. For as long as we remain ignorant, they'll fight their war against Ireland. For as long as we remain silent, they'll imprison any they want. For as long as we keep our eyes shut, they'll continue to contain us. For as long as we remain passive, they'll trample us into the dust. You Callahan, Patrick Hill, Richard Michelini, Johnny Walker, Jerry Hunter, and Billy Power, still fighting for their freedom. 14 long years on, their spirit shall remain. When our state is dead, when our state is dead, when our state is dead and gone.
Well, I'm trying to kill time a bit. If anyone's got any requests, I can't play Working Class Hero. No. No, I do impressions as well. Right, this is a sort of a...
As soon as I'm born, they make me feel big. That I was privileged without having to be rich. They had a place set aside for me to help to run this society. I followed the paths they down for me. I could join their club called Patriarchy. Because I'm a he. Because I'm a he. Because I'm a he. If I didn't get far, cause the ladder was too long, I could be my own boss with a workforce of one. No matter how low I go, there'll always be lower. It's taken for granted that a white man holds power, and I am white, and I'm a man. I don't have to justify what I am. And now it's relatively easy for me to get taken seriously. Because I'm a he. Because I'm a he. Because I'm a black. I'm not Irish, I'm not a woman. I don't get too much stick just for being what I am, 'cause I am white and I am a man. I don't often have to justify what I am, and now it's relatively easy for me to get taken seriously, because I'm a he, because I'm a he, because I'm a he. Hassled, I've been hassled, but I don't get hassled on sight. I don't dread going out at night. I don't have to worry, 'cause I'm alright. Singing about it doesn't exclude me, but if I keep quiet, then all people see is compulsory whiteness, superiority complex that's forced on me, because I'm a he, because I'm a he, because I'm a he. It's no good feeling guilty, it's what I am, but it's up to me to do what I can by not being what I'm supposed to be, by fighting white male supremacy, by fighting government policy, by fighting bosses of companies, by fighting fascist democracy, but not forgetting to look at me, no, not forgetting to look at me, because I'm a he, because I'm a he, because I'm a he.
Right, I think that's about it. 10 o'clock, back to the disco. Thanks very much. Rather laid back. I feel like telling a few jokes, but I don't know any. It's that kind of place. Thanks a lot. Good night.